Hello there. Welcome to One-on-One on Metro Television with me, Bridget Otu. Today on One-on-One, we're talking Menzgold scam. Now, for a lot of people, they're asking, why is Menzgold back in the news? It is back in the news because the Iyoko boss, Madam Tiwa Adodankwa, made a statement to suggest that they don't have enough evidence to prosecute the CEO of Menzgold on the charges of fraud, which has been leveled against him, Nana Appiah Mensah. And that shocked a lot of people, especially customers of Menzgold or victims of the Menzgold scam. And that's because they had proposed earlier that they want to negotiate or meet with NAM1 and have him pay their money before criminal prosecution is done. The state did not listen to them and decided to go ahead and prosecute him. After 3 years, nothing has happened. So we want to engage Menzgold customers, their PRO, Fred Forson, on exactly where they are, what they make of the new revelation, and what the customers say would happen on the 12th of September. Thank you very much for joining us, Fred.
Yeah, thank you. I'm most grateful for being here.
Right. And before we even get to the conversation, I just want you to have an appreciation of exactly who are victims of Menzgold. We're talking politicians, bankers, persons in the Ghana Police Service, in the military, in the entertainment industry. So it's not just people who are ignorant, but people who just invested in this company because they believed in the company. They didn't know that it was a Ponzi scheme, but the state allowed it to operate for such a long time that the more people got to know, the more they thought it was real and they could genuinely get their money and their profits and the return on the investment back. Now, I just want to read something from you on the Iyoko website, where when you go to the Iyoko website, it tells you that there is no gold. There is no gold anywhere. And I keep asking myself, where was this 3 years ago when Menzgold was operating? Where was all of this? Where was the education? They say Bank of Ghana did warn them. Yes, indeed, Bank of Ghana did warn them. But there were lots of people too who spoke in support of it. And the fact that government did not take action is why we are where we are today. Fred, so I had interviewed you on news, and you said something was going to happen on the 12th of September. Tell me, has anything changed since we had that conversation? Or you still stand by the statement that something would happen on the 12th of September, and what will that be?
Thank you very much. Yes, we'll still go ahead with what we planned. You know, we said from now to 12th of September, if government doesn't respond, because where we are now, I believe government has come to its wit end, because you cannot proceed again. And the statement from the Iyoko boss, just as I said, she communicated the mind of the government. And so those 183 people, government cannot bring those lives back again, just as the president said in 2020. So what they should go ahead to do is to pay us. And like we indicated in our statement, our press release, that there are two options. Either they quickly go to Parliament and adopt the motion which has been filed on behalf of the customers by the member for Saudai. And that one, the government will be guided as to how to pay. Or the proposal, the earlier proposal that we made in 2019, where we recommended for a committee, that is the rep from the government, the Menzgold customers leadership, Menzgold company itself, and Parliament, so that we sit around the table. Because as we speak, government is in custody of all the properties of Menzgold. That's what we know. I have the court order confirming the seizure of those assets here.
Show me.
Yes. This is it. Today I came fully loaded with all the documents pertaining to Menzgold.
Right. So you went for the order to confirm that the government has possession of NAM1's
government
assets.
Has possession of NAM1 asset. The order was obtained on 29th January 2019.
Okay.
Oh, where is this document?
Don't worry, we'll find
yes, I'll get that document for you.
Sure. This is application to access information. Oh, you've applied to the AG to access information?
Yes, under the RTI.
Okay.
I'm sure we'll come to it. So, those assets were there.
Okay.
Those documents, I'll get it.
Okay, I hope you find it.
Yes.
And you look for it. I mean, while you look for it, while he's looking for the document, because I want us to just show you on paper what it is the government has hold of in terms of NAM1's assets. We'll also try and find, where is he? Because the last time, Menzgold customers tried to besiege his premises to demonstrate, against police orders. Some of them were arrested. And we found that document. So this is it. Right, so this is from the Economic and Organized Crime Office, and it's a news release. This was made public, and it says that court order confirming the freezing of properties of Menzgold Ghana Limited and other associated companies. And it says that they've secured a court order confirming the freezing of landed properties and vehicles of Menzgold Ghana Limited, Menzgold Office Complex, Xylophone Arts Complex, Brew Marketing Consult, Star Madrid Football Club, Xylophone Music and Media Company Limited, Brew Energy Company Limited, G-Tech Automobile Services, 2 properties located at Trasaco Valley, that's plots 315 and 337, plot of land near Oak Street, Trasaco Valley, uncompleted residences, and 10 acres of land. Now, it says again here, by this release, all employees of the affected companies, relatives, and friends who are in possession of any of such properties are to surrender same by the authority of the High Court to the Economic and Organized Crime Head Office and regional offices in their own interest. Failure to do so will constitute contempt of court, which will attract the appropriate sanctions. The general public is also entreated to assist Yoko by giving information to facilitate the retrieval of all vehicles and properties not listed in the freezing order. So these are some of the things that they froze. Now, here is the thing. What I want to ask, do you honestly believe that they still have this? The state has, or do you think that they may have released it to him? Because there was a PPA boss, I believe, who we were told that his assets were frozen, but it turned out that he actually had access to his account and was able to withdraw all the money. Yes. Do you sincerely believe that these are still in the possession of the state?
Yes, Bridget, we are minded. So I remember in 2019,
right,
2nd April, we sent a similar petition to Yoko,
right,
that they should disclose the assets that have been frozen.
Right.
And mind you, these assets, most of them, we assisted them to freeze them. Because we have a special platform, it's called Aluta platform.
Wow. And
that platform, we led them to identify those locations where those vehicles and other properties were. So on 2nd April 2019, we went to Yoko and said, with this work that we have done, and you have come to the public, let us know how many assets you have frozen, so that in case we know of other assets
that are not listed,
we could bring it to your attention. And they refused. Just about a fortnight ago, we went to Yoko and AG's office, because we heard that after the court order they obtained in 2022 January, the vehicles have been sold. We had evidence, so we went there, and a team from us, 2 of us, led by my chairman, they went and they were told that yes, they confirmed that those vehicles have been sold. These vehicles, but how much?
So the state has sold NAM1's property.
Yes, the vehicles.
Sorry, the vehicles. Yes. How much was accrued from it? Has not been disclosed.
Not disclosed to us.
And that money has been deposited in whose account?
Whose account too? They did not. So thankfully, we have done this letter. This one too, maybe you can show it.
Yes, I would want to.
Under the RTI.
Right.
We submitted it to the AG's office.
Okay. So this is a letter, I would let you continue, yes. But this is a letter dated 22nd of August, and it is to application to access information on assets and sale of NAM1 and Menzgold assets relating to RTI at 2019 at 989. And they are asking, and it says that, auctioning of Mr. Nana Appiah-Mensah, aka #1 in Menzgold assets, and he says it's given, you know, the impersonal to but he is simply saying that how many vehicles, they're asking questions. The questions are whether the Office of the Attorney General has sold all of or any of the assets of Menzgold and #1 as granted by court in January 2022. Whether all vehicles belonging to Menzgold and #1 in the custody of the state have been auctioned as granted by the court. How many vehicles belonging to #1 and Menzgold were seized by the state? How many vehicles were kept by the state through the preservation order by the court in January 2019? Again, how many vehicles were kept by the state? Okay, that's a question I just read. So how many vehicles of #1 and Menzgold did IOCO obtain a court order to auction in January 2022? How many vehicles of #1 and Menzgold have been auctioned in the Office of the Attorney General's office? How much money has been raised from the sale of #1 and Menzgold vehicles as ordered by the court? Whether Xylophone Media, which was part of the asset preserved by the court in January 2019, has been sold. How much was realized from the sale of Xylophone Media? That's the 8th question. What's the total amount that has been realized from the state's sale of Nana Appiah-Mensah, Nana Appiah-Mensah and Menzgold assets? How many bars or kilograms of gold belonging to Menzgold and #1 were seized by IOCO? How many bars of gold are in the custody of the state? And whether the private jet belonging to #1 were seized by the state. Did the private jet really belong to him? I think the investigation, I have some UK friends who investigated and said that it actually didn't belong to him.
That's what the father told us. The father
said that the private jet is for him.
The current first vice chairperson of MPP.
That's what he told you guys.
To us.
Okay, that's what?
That the private jet belongs to them.
It belongs to
the son, yes.
The son, okay,
yes.
All right. And then whether Nana Appiah-Mensah's Dubai money, in which he won a court judgment in 2019, has been retrieved by the state. Coalition of Aggrieved Menzgold customers of Menzgold is made up of victims of Menzgold who suffered the brunt of the collapse of the investment company in 2018. And these are the questions they posed to the state, and they want answers to this. So here is the thing. I mean, I want you to continue on, you know, the point that you were making about this. And for instance, I am baffled by the private jet thing, because I knew some people in the UK who also did the investigation and said the jets didn't belong to him. So how also are you sure that some of these
we want an official pronouncement on this, because it was done by private entities.
Right.
We are not aware of it, because we know from the meetings that we had with him, and I'm sure many of the customers know that. I remember in one of the visits that we made to IOCO, they confirmed to us that their evidence at that time proved that the private jet belongs to #1.
Right.
So we would want to know whether it was part of the asset frozen. I remember in that same period, the father even had the cause to worry that the pilot was trying to sell the jet.
So #1's dad is who?
Mr. Samson Smith, the newly elected executives of the NPP. She is the one chairman.
I think.
Yeah. So he told us that he was very confident, and we had no cause to doubt what the father said to us.
Okay, all right. So here you are with these documents.
So we want to know
where have you been to? You've mentioned Parliament, that you've put a petition before Parliament.
The motion has been
and the motion has been filed by the South Dai Member of Parliament. Yes. And then you have a list of the assets that they claim that they have seized or frozen. And so I want to know what's the steps that you're taking now to ensure that, because it looks you are keeping your eye on it, because you don't want to take your eye off the ball, because something could happen.
Sure.
So where else are you engaging to ensure that you make an impact? You're not just shouting, but you're making an impact.
Yes. In fact, we've given the state up to the 12th of September. That is next month. Mind you, next month will be 4 years of the closure of this company.
Right. And
looking at where we are now, I mean, we shouldn't have even asked for it, because if the government had listened to us in 2019, we also sent a petition to the Attorney General in 2019 requesting for this same thing, because we foresaw that the route government has taken is not going to yield or lead to the payment of our money. when the Yoko boss made this disclosure, we've been monitoring the space, and the discourse is whether there is law or there is a charge or whether it's guilty.
Law. Yes, I think
yes,
I heard
that is fine. But the bottom line is the individual customer who went and invested. Right. And it's a question that we must ask ourselves, which is more important?
The lives
is it
of the
obtaining a conviction or paying the customers?
So here is the thing. So you're saying that you don't mind that Namwan will be prosecuted, but you want your monies paid before there's a criminal prosecution.
That is it.
Okay.
That's why I like you. You know, you and I fought Stone Boy on the CD coin. You remember?
I didn't.
You began it.
Okay.
Then I also joined them.
Okay.
So that is it.
Okay.
That we are not saying he should be left off the hook,
but
we are
make
saying
sure
that for now
the victims are paid
first. Like I painted a picture yesterday in one of the discussions. What this government has done is like a mother who has a child, and the child is knocked down by a vehicle, a reckless driver. Then instead of taking your child to the hospital for treatment, the mother left the child and went after the vehicle. Then he realized that no, pursuing this one is a hopeless situation. By the time he realized, the child, 183 of them have died. That is what this government has done.
And the rest are on life support.
So, is this a prudent decision to take? We think no. Let's take care of the child first. Because as for the vehicles, as for the one who has caused the crime, we say crime has no expiry date. Right. We can go after number one at any time that we want. So that's what we are saying.
And why do you think that the mother has been so slow in attending to the son or the daughter that's sick? Why is the government refusing to listen to you?
Yes, because from where we sit and from the information at our disposal, it appears the mother is aware that the driver will knock the child down.
I think the government has always been aware that this was going to happen.
Has been aware that it's like, look, Namwane, sometimes they said, oh, the customers were supporting Namwan, we were defending Namwan.
Yes.
In fact,
at a point, that's the view I held.
The number one defender of Namwan is the government of the day. I mean, look at it. As we speak, anytime he goes to court, he goes with a police protection. And don't think that we are not following whatever is happening. Because this Menzgold issue, we have the security agencies. Anytime that one goes to court, the vehicles he comes to court with, we have the information. How he even reports at the CID department at 7 p.m. in the night, we are aware. He wears a cap there, we are aware. We know them. Because everywhere you go, 25% of the adult population are involved in Menzgold. 25%. So when you are talking about Menzgold, it's not like we the Tengelenge people that you see around, though. The big men.
So I just want to run you through who invested in Menzgold. Okay, bank officials, bankers, insurance brokers, financial institutions, microfinance, Ministry of Finance officials. Remember when it came out, they said Ministry of Finance people invested there. Yes, they are listed as security personnel, both private and public. So Ghana Police Service, you have the military personnel, politicians, judges, lawyers, media personnel. My own people were in there. Oh goodness, how could you not people see through Menzgold and Namwan? How could you give him one city? Okay, doctors, nurses, drivers, farmers, churches, pastors, students. Looks like every single
and even the one who was issuing the warning.
Right.
You remember?
Bank of Ghana themselves, they were invested in Menzgold.
Yes.
So that's how come Menzgold gained legitimacy. So however much of a scam or a Ponzi scheme it was, these investments from these institutions made it look legitimate. And so you would have Mr. Forson say, oh, if Bank of Ghana is investing, then who am I? As someone would say, whom am I? Mm-hmm. Then who am I? If lawyers and politicians were investing in Menzgold, then why? That's how come so many people fell victim. But that is no excuse for the crimes that they have committed. Yeah. All they are asking for is that you've seized this asset, you've sold, how much do you get? If we're not going to get our full percentage, are you open to whatever percentage you get? Even if you are not getting everything, at least let's get something.
That's what we are calling, come and sit down. I remember several calls have been made.
To?
See, to the government.
When you say government, who?
The government of the day.
Yes, but is it to a specific
we have
ministry
made
office?
calls.
Yeah.
In fact, there has been a petition to the finance minister. We did a follow-up. Sometimes we come up with an open letter. After the formal petition to the Attorney General this year, about 2-3 months ago, I wrote an open letter. In one of them, we even threatened that we want to withdraw from the case because we had witnessed incessant over 20 of them adjournment.
I had seen that.
But Bridget, I want to say something here.
Go ahead.
You see, the reason why this government cannot run away from the payment of the Menzgold issue is simple. We are also backed by the the law, Act 929. And I want to demonstrate it here. You know, before Menzgold was collapsed, the Bank of Ghana set out to investigate the operations of Menzgold.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yes.
So they said that customers were warned several times. And this date is from October 28, 2014. That they said Bank of Ghana carried a series of activities. Is there? Then March 2015, they say it, April 2016.
And it was still going, and it was growing wings.
It was growing wings. So they did all these things and they had faults and all that. But let's look at the conclusions that their own reports came up with. One, this is the conclusion. Said that there is the need to conduct further investigations. And for the relevant institutions to coordinate actions to close the operations of the two companies down and to prosecute its directors and relevant officers for the breaches of the law. Full stop. So that's why perhaps they embark on this prosecution. But look at the next paragraph, the next sentence. There is also the need to consider how to protect the monies paid to the companies by the customers. Even though
they may have breached the law,
the customer themselves might have engaged in illegal activity by depositing funds with Menzgold and pre-marketing. This last sentence means that even though they committed an offense,
protect the
investment. Do you know why they made these recommendations? Let's go to Act 929, Section 123. Act 929, Section 123 says that the heading says power to reprimand or disqualify. Section 2 of the Act, 2 of the Act says that where the Commission is satisfied that a person has obtained monies without a license or contrary to the terms of the license of the person. So in this case, whether you are licensed by SEC or whatever, or you are not licensed, the law took care of you here. It said that the Commission shall. So they didn't have any option. It is mandatory. In writing, instruct that person to A, repay all the monies obtained and the profit accruing to that person. So the SEC, when they became satisfied that yes, we believe that Menzgold is doing its operations illegal, or their operations were within our remits. And so they were satisfied to go in there. The law mandated them. They didn't have option to have written to Menzgold that pay all the monies you have collected from the customers, pay it back. Then look at 2. I hear people said, oh, they broke the Bank of Ghana Act, they were taking deposit. The law took care of it. The B says that return assets acquired as a result of the illegally obtained monies or deposit. So I hear people talk about, and the C is there, talk about, oh, they were taking deposits, they were wrong. Yes, it was wrong. But the law says that instruct Menzgold to pay the monies back to the customers. The big question is that, did SEC do this? And the answer is no.
Securities and Exchange Commission.
They didn't do it. It is that singular negligence that has landed us where we are. I am a student of research. In research, but when you look at this thing, you see that the law also didn't provide that if SEC failed to do this, what should be the punishment to SEC?
Right.
So there's a gap here. In law, they call it lacuna. In any working democracy, the government of the day would come up with a policy to cater for that lacuna there.
And to prevent future.
And to prevent it, and also to cater for their own mess. That is what was not done. And we realized that there was an attempt by the government, and in 2019, the finance minister sent a particular memo to Parliament.
Secret.
So we had access to this memorandum to Parliament by the Minister for Finance on the request for approval for the sum of 15.6 billion to protect depositors of failed financial institutions and improve liquidity of the financial sector. 28 November 2019. This memo is signed by the Honorable Minister for Finance. I'm going to demonstrate something to you in this document. Out of this amount that he requested, he indicated under 4 financial impact, he indicated that, yes, section 2.2.5, failure in the asset management industry. Then he said that the Security and Exchange Commission undertook a forensic review of the industry, of the asset management industry in 2018, and noted that fund managements are investing heavily, blah, blah, blah. Then he said, according to SEC, about 6.3 billion of the funds are locked up in risky investment. Risky. Highlight. That's where my interest is.
Right.
He did not mention I was going to give it to Gold Coast Fund Management or blah, blah, but he said people have done risky investment. So, Menzgold investment was variously described as a risky investment. And he went for this money, and Menzgold customers were swerved.
This was to take care of the financial sector.
That is it. And the 15 billion was for the whole financial sector, including the banking sector. But he was specific that 6.3 was going to go for those who have done risky investment. And here, Menzgold customers were to be included. So when we went to Parliament, let me look at the officer. But the finance minister has come for money for you people. So why are you here again? They said,
but are you surprised? The finance minister, when at the peak of Menzgold, made the statement. He said, "It is not in the place of government to refund or get your money for you. It's greed." And that was on the bailout of...
That is one of the slow poison. That's one of the strategies, vile propaganda and narrative they threw out there. If they tell you that you are greed, you are a pastor.
Greed, yeah.
That's why most of the pastors and the churches, the SDA, the Anglican Church, the Methodist, the Pentecost, who are customers of Menzgold, coiled back in their shells. That we are afraid, we don't want to be known. He said, he made this statement. But this is a hopeless one. This is a very hopeless statement. Because the law was clear. I'm not sure he knew what the law was saying before he made this statement. Because you caused it. The law directed you as to how to proceed. So if you say, in fact, on the 12th of September, the day that government went to Menzgold to shut it down, the responsibility of paying the customers.
September 2019.
2018. That was the day it was shut down.
We're on the fourth year.
Fourth year. That very day, the responsibility of paying the customers shifted from Menzgold to the government.
Okay.
As simple as that. Bridget, I know you read wild. Show me one country in the world that this issue, this is how that nation resolved it. In 2019, Nigeria had a similar one.
Right.
The Security and Exchange Commission set up a committee, retrieved the money before they went ahead and punished the people.
Right. And even, abroad, until, what's his name? Bernie Madoff died. Yes. Same, he did. He had politicians, Hollywood, celebrities, everybody. But they made sure he paid for his crime. But also they retrieved, money seized, paid some of the customers.
That is it.
We're taking a commercial break. When we come back, we have heard 183 people have died. We'll show you faces of some of them. We will tell you what they went through And what does their death even mean for the state and those who have left? And also I want to find out, from Fred here, what is his own personal cost? What has he sacrificed to ensure that the fight for Menzgold customers to retrieve their monies stay atop of the headlines? We'll be right back. Welcome back to One on One. If you've just joined us, we're talking about Menzgold, government collapsing it, the scam, what's happened. For the customers, their request is very simple. Allow us retrieve our money and prosecute Nam1 for his crimes. And if you're failing to do that, then it is your responsibility as a government to pay us. Also, you want for money to say you are going to pay persons involved in high-risk investments in the financial sector, and they did not receive a penny. So they are very much accusing government of letting this fester and also literally frustrating them to give up. Because now they're saying they don't even have enough evidence to prosecute Nana Appiah Mensah. Something they had envisaged would happen 4 years after the collapse of Menzgold, or almost 4 years after the collapse of Menzgold. And the spokesperson for Aggrieved Menzgold customers, Fred Forson, is the one with me in the studio doing that. So before the break, I mentioned that 183 people have died. We cannot go through all of them, but we will show you a few on your screen so you can see that there are real people behind this Menzgold. There are real victims who put their investment in it, who put their life savings in it because they believed, because they saw doctors, they saw bankers, they saw politicians all invested in it. And like they say, word of mouth is the biggest, selling point. And so if somebody says it's good, it must be good, regardless of what, anybody says. So I just want to mention one, Abel Hackman, may his soul rest in peace. Now, he was one of the leaders of Menzgold in Takwa. Unfortunately, he died of stroke. The coalition, even in their worst moments, managed to raise over 5,000 cedis to help him with his treatment, but he still did not make it. Did you know Abel personally?
Yes, he was very energetic. I remember in 2020, in when we go for this demonstration, it was his restaurant that we go and eat. He had a restaurant. He was working at the mines. Then I think they had retrenchment or something, so he had to come to the house.
Oh, that's why he took his money from
the money and invested.
How much? Do you know how much it was? You don't remember?
It's huge. These people, they have big money.
Right,
so it's not easy. But I want let me paint some picture. Let me show you what happened 8 July last month in Accra here at 37.
Okay.
One gentleman, Nanakisi.
Right. Do we have his pictures?
Yes.
We have his picture.
We'll put it
on the screen when we are doing that. Yeah.
I'm going to have the 1 week so we can even, as way of informing our customers. 1 week in 11th September.
Okay. This will go before that.
Yes.
It will go on Monday. Yeah.
I was there when I had a call that he was seriously ill. So I quickly had to rush, went to East Legon and picked one of our leaders, Madam Darling. We went to the hospital. We got there around some few minutes to 6 o'clock. When we got there, we met a sister and an elderly woman. Later, we found out that was the mother. And he saw me and said, "Are you Fred?" I said, "Yeah." Then she started crying. I said, "Why? What's happening?" I said, "Oh, my brother is there, go." But as we were entering the ward, then we saw the doctors and the nurses coming out of the ward. So when I entered, then the sister that I was communicating with said, "Uncle Fred, no." I said, "What?" Then I entered inside. I was told he just left.
Means he died.
Yes. And Bridget, I said, "No, he's not dead." So Madam said, "But I've been this gentleman is not dead." I touched the toe, the feet, the legs, the ribs, the hands. I said, "I can see that there's some heat a lot of heat. He's like me sitting here." So I said, "No, I'm not sure he's dead." That time, they had removed the oxygen on him.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm the type, I don't easily accept bad situations, unless we've passed on ye. So I said no. So I quickly rushed to the doctor with a sister and said, "It's a female. My brother is not dead. Because you people have told us that when somebody is dead, the body is cold.
Yeah.
But this one is not like that. Then she told me he's now leaving us. So I should give them 1 hour. After an hour, he will go. So I said, no, we still believe that a miracle can happen. So we stood there until 7:14. Then we saw these people who works in the hospital. They came and removed the curtain and started driving him away. We couldn't stop Nana Kisi from coming back.
So sorry.
That is the gravamen of the matter. Very strong man. He died.
So sorry. Do you have tissue? We don't know. Sorry.
Nana died. He had stroke. Within 1 week, he's gone. Very strong. Everybody knows him. When you Google Nana Kisi, he was the former driver of Honorable Ajwa Safa. That is the gravamen. That's how serious this Menzgold issue is. So when we are saying that people are dying, it's not that we are exaggerating or it's not real.
It's because some people put the entire life savings.
Entire life savings there. He stayed in America, he stayed in London. He has 2 children in Germany, in the US, and 1 in London. Then he came down and invested all that he had in Menzgold. That is it. A year on, last year, October, we buried the sister. You see, I deal with the data of the customer. So when I'm talking, I speak from experience. And we speak of what we know and testify to what we have seen. The sister died out of diabetes. She went blind and finally had to give up. A lot, I can narrate.
So if someone says that, and I'm sorry I have to ask this question, but I must ask. If someone says that, oh, I had diabetes, not number 1 or Menzgold that caused it, what would you say?
It's related. It's related.
How?
People
Maybe
have been thinking,
money to...
sometimes even money to buy drugs.
Okay.
I have a gentleman in my DM 3 weeks ago. He needed just 20 cedis to survive. Otherwise, he said there's even a lady in Europe. June 2019, she said, "Brother Fred, somebody gave me your number. I have DDT around me. I want to drink." I said, "No." I had to stop her. I said, "No. That one is not an option." Then I told her, that time, that very moment, I was sitting on our data on my machine. We wanted to go to court. I said, "We are processing our data for court." There's a gentleman, Richmond. I came for a program here. That was the time I contacted him at Original TV. He called in. He said, "I've left my house. My wife is pregnant, but she doesn't know where I am. Because I'm owing." People gave me money for contract, and I invested it in Menzgold and lost it. So I don't even want people to know my whereabouts. A lot. Just 2 days ago, he was on the platform and said his whole house has been sold, seized by a bank, his car, everything. And now he's a pauper. So this Menzgold thing, I don't see why government is disinterested in this whole matter. And I think it's sheer wickedness on the part of the government.
To ignore the stories.
To ignore the stories. But now we are hit with the confession of the Yoko boss. What the Yoko boss said, she spoke the mind of the government and the AG. Because we had gone to the AG department, the Director of Public Prosecution has said that they are finding it difficult to prosecute. So ye good men of the law and governance, it is not anything. We are not supporting number 1. But I wish we had 10 of Madam Tiwa Dankwa. Her statement is very simple. That enough of the pretenses. We are pretending that we are prosecuting this man, but we are not. The commitment to prosecute Namwan is not there. So why don't you bring him to the table?
Let's
show
see his
us the assets. There are other assets the state couldn't freeze.
Right.
And he has access to those things and he's secretly selling them. And those people, we are watching you. He's secretly selling some of them. Bring him to the table. Okay? The greed in this nation is too much. I have power.
Do you think that the government wants to frustrate you to the point where you will give up 1, 2, and then the government itself will sell the asset and keep it?
They tried it and it's not working because we've told them, but you know it.
Anywhere.
This world, has it happened? No government has been able to conquer the people. No government. No. It will not happen. And it will never ever happen. So the matter was taken to court, then the attention of the public will be on the court. And they made it, it is between the customers and the government. But we have said, we came on the scene fully fortified with this document and with this law and with this information, that government is responsible. Yes, we may have done an investment in
illegal
company, blah, 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 blah. But
which you didn't know at the time was illegal.
We didn't know because he had documents. You see, let me show you. Let me also demonstrate to you one more time something. The letter freezing the asset of collapsing the company. 3rd September 2018.
From SEC.
This was
Securities
written by
and Exchange
SEC
Commission.
to the Minerals Commission.
Right.
In this letter, they said that they made a profound statement. They admitted that there is the aspect of Menzgold business which involves the purchase, deposit of gold collectibles from the public, and contract issue with guaranteed returns for its clients, amounting to dealing in securities. So they accepted that Menzgold was doing something that were within their remit, within the SEC operations.
Yeah, exchange commissions, yeah.
So in the last paragraph, they said, it is our expectation that being your licensee, I'm sure you have heard people say that Menzgold was not licensed. So this one defeats that argument that is hollow, it's porous. So
they could have given him a license, but then he had gone outside of the license. It doesn't mean that you didn't give him the license to operate in the first place. Yes, I guess she was like saying that, I want a license to operate maybe a salon. Then you ended up taking deposit. It doesn't mean that we didn't give you the original one to do that. I mean,
that is it.
Okay.
So we wrote to SEC in 29 September that you have admitted in this letter that the operations of Menzgold were supposed to fall under your jurisdiction, and that the bailout money that you are giving out to affected customers within your area, give us some. Now SEC responds and tell us that Menzgold was not an operation that they were supposed to have supervised. What a bundle of contradiction. Right. And we have this man sitting down being paid with my tax.
Right. I want to talk about you. When did you invest in Menzgold, and how did you become the secretary to the aggrieved customers?
Maybe I'll talk about the last one, the disaster, July 2018.
Right.
I came to Standard Bank. I have a series of the investment. One with my father, which is the big one. Then we took 100,000 from the bank.
100,000 cedis.
Medina, yes.
Right.
So I topped it with, I think 60 or something, 50 or something thousand. Then we went and invested on 31st July.
2018. That was at the peak of it. At the time the warnings had come out.
Yes.
Right.
Then
and that was your first time?
No, that was.
Oh, you were already in it already.
Yes,
so you
I
were
had
adding on.
Ones in the previous years. Okay. So normally you add on.
Okay.
Then the thing collapsed on the. To be honest, if I tell you I didn't see it coming, then I would, because we had insiders that told us that they had problems with the banks. So I think the month of August, we were supposed to have been paid. We invested in 31st. So 31st August, we were supposed to have been paid, but that thing delayed. So we went. We went to them, and they briefed me and told me that they were having challenges. That's how the thing collapsed. So together with my mother is a pensioner. I convinced her, and she also invested. Yes, so I have my families in there, to be honest with you. Then I have friends that I also introduced. Sure. Even when he went to Dubai, I have a brother in Dubai that I made him to do checks around, and one he was giving for me that it was not true that he was even arrested in Dubai. That thing was a hoax. So that is it. So that's how I got into. Then for the coalition, I was a leader in Kaswa. I was doing mine at Kaswa. Right. So I was a leader at that, but then the various groups, we came together. Then I thought I could speak, I could explain the issues. I'm a policy person. I mean,
and I asked because at a time when people were running away, you stepped forward.
Yes.
And decided to put your face out because people were attacking you. That, oh, you had been warned. Why did you go? Why did you do it? So
do you know why I did that?
Why?
Because what I hate is injustice. Just as you also do. I hate injustice.
I know.
And I realize that
I despise it.
Yes.
It
and I realize that this is a state craft. So they think they can hide behind the law and power. But I know the end of power.
It's transient. It's not permanent. Right.
And that is where we are. We have been vindicated. Last time you and I said that vindication is the womb of time. When Stoneboy issue happened, he was bragging, oh, I'm right. And the Bank of Ghana came with a letter. We said that we were right. And we fought that one and killed that one. We killed the CD coin. He came out with Payboy. We killed it.
Yes.
You remember that?
Oh, yes. I talked about Payboy.
Yes.
Yeah.
We killed that one. So this one too shall pass. I'm quoting the president.
So how did it affect your business, and what are you doing now? What do you do now? What were you doing before? Sorry.
I work in the public space, but I was pursuing my PhD. And,
okay. Did you finish, or you're still on it?
I couldn't. So.
Was it because of Menzgold?
Yes, because the money was too huge, and the payment of fees. So I've abandoned that one. Not abandoned. I've suspended it. Yeah. I will still go back to it. Yes, I will surely go back to it because I finished with the thesis proposal. I defended it, everything. I wrote over 120 pages and got to a time I have to stop it. And so now this is the cross I am carrying with my other colleagues, and I want to see to the end of it. And so I want to use this opportunity. The cabinet ministers, how are we going to remember you when you leave office? I want 3 or 4 of you to take this Menzgold as a project. You sit in cabinet with the president almost every week. Can you decide that this Menzgold issue is an albatross on our neck? And so we want to see to the end of it by ensuring that the customers are paid. After all, we are not saying that use your personal money to pay. We are taxpayers. Pay us, let us work for this economy. Also
show us how much you've got from the assets of the man.
The man
himself. You seized this asset. So how much have you realized? And say, okay, we can't pay you 100%, but we can give you this much. And then it will be a step.
Welcome. That is why we're even calling for the sit down. Because Yoko, we were told by the company that Yoko seized 400 kilograms of gold. We kept on, when you go online, you see that several statements we made. I've made several of this. The last time we went to Yoko, they confirmed. By this time, they said it's 4 bars. So at least there's a gold that has been frozen.
Do you think there are
all these things?
Do you think there are people who are also using this scam to scam?
Of course. Bridget, you can read in between the lines. I mean, you can look at it.
Yeah.
Right now, people are dying. Now one is happy.
Yeah. I think had it not been for the social media pressure, he would even be on Instagram Live, because there was a time he just posted how he was whether on vacation.
He has bought some land.
And it is so disgusting and repulsive to watch him do that while people suffer because of his scam. There's no way to put it. It was a scam, a Ponzi scheme. You just take money from here, pay this. But then the way he did it was to involve all these, politicians, bankers, everybody. And so it looked legit. And something looking legit does not mean that it was legit. But now lives are involved. 183 people have died. If you don't remember anyone at all, remember Ebo Hackman. Remember Kisi?
Nana Kisi.
Or remember Nana Kisi. If you don't remember anyone, remember Ebo and remember Nana Kisi. And how his sister had even died because she could not buy medication. She didn't have the money to buy medication because she had invested her money in Menzgold. They made a mistake, but the first mistake came from the state. And they were victims. You can call them greedy, whatever, but the state allowed them to operate for so long that it was impossible to just say it was illegitimate. I personally was attacked and insulted when I said this was a scam. I mean, I know a lot of people, and Namwan used to pay lots of people on social media to just attack, including bloggers. They would just insult you. Yeah. It didn't matter. They would just insult you because I said he was a scammer. But look, we've been vindicated. I'm not happy that we've been vindicated. I hope that customers like Fred would get their money. I hope they will get at least some of it, if not all of it. At least the state should engage. But does it look like the state wants to engage? Because looks like they're not even responding to you directly. You have to sometimes use the public space to get some sort of attention from them.
I have a stubborn faith. I have that stubborn faith. When we started, this is where it's going to end. People didn't believe us. After 3 years, that's where we are.
They believe you.
So now, to put it mildly, calm down from your high horses. You have sold the asset. Because right now, the state cannot bring back the 183 people. And I've even apologized to them. Right. Because it's your doing. Had they listened to us in 2019, and I'm not sure these people would have died, if they had listened to us. So, please, that's why on the 12th of September, if by that time we don't hear anything, we'll be doing a peaceful march, a walk to the president. Right. And this time, I think it will be good and proper for us to meet the president. And state securities and coming Sunday, we shall have general meeting at La Paz. And national security operatives, you are invited.
They are customers of Menzgold.
Oh, sometimes some of them.
Oh, they come in your midst to take information.
Some of them were even coming to do observation. They were following us at the court. Okay. I remember one time we went to the Medina court, and one of them stood somewhere very far place and was filming us. Then I also filmed him, and later on I showed it to my product. This guy is a national security operator. So you are welcome. What we are doing is for your own good. Some of you are affected. Do you know the day he was arrested, the people were guiding Namwan.
We're all victims of Menzgold.
They said that I sold my car and I went to Menzgold.
I'm sorry that.
So what we are doing is for all of us. Right. Don't harm us. Yeah. We are very harmless people. All that we are doing is that so that you can also get your money and be free. So
are you going to tell the police, let the police know that okay, you're marching to the presidency at this time?
After we have, now that we have dealt
with what if they deny? The police have a penchant for denying legitimate protest, even though look, ordinarily you're not supposed to go to them, but out of courtesy and respect you extended, they hardly, say yes. What if they decline? Will you still go through with the 12th September?
Look at what happened at Circle. The next day, when they provided the security, it was peaceful. I represented Menzgold. It was peaceful. Right. So we advised them they should allow us to go. Now, Ghana, where Ghana is, it is not looking good. Right. If they allow a peaceful demonstration or a peaceful walk, it will be better and to be a plus for them. They shouldn't do anything to frustrate us. Okay. Right. We're only going to inform them. We don't want any tag of war behind this time. We are begging them in the name of God. All right. Fred Forson, thank you very much. And I wish you well in your quest to retrieving monies for the victims of Menzgold. I wish you well too. Let's continue with the fight. Thank you very much. This has to be the most raw, compelling interview I've personally had since we started one-on-one. And if you ever thought that the Menzgold scam did not affect people, now you know 183 people have died. You know some of their faces. You've seen some of their faces on this channel. And I hope that you also add your voices to them
in trying to retrieve, if not all of it, just some of their investments. My name is Bridget Osu. You can leave your comments on all our social media platforms. Use the hashtag #1on1. Good evening.